You have an invisible frame that you carry into every social interaction, whether you're aware of it or not. And most men have a weak frame, meaning they don't have a strong sense of themselves or their own reality. And because of this, they're looking outwards to women to tell them their own worth and to define the situation. And women can sense this. They know they have influence over you and your emotions, and they can't be attracted to that. It turns them off. But when a man knows the correct frames to set, and he holds firm to them in conversation, he finds that he has a massive influence over women. And this is the closest thing to mind control that I teach, because women naturally follow you when you have a strong frame. And if you're new to the channel, my name's Joseph, and 4 years ago I was tired of getting mediocre results from dating apps and feeling like I was relying on them as a crutch. That's when I started learning game and I became addicted. Now for the last year I've been coaching men one-to-one and using my system to help them transform their confidence and dating results. If you'd like to personally work with me, you can click the link below. Now today I want to talk about frame, and I want to dissect the low value frames that most guys unconsciously have in their interactions with women. And then I'm going to show you how to set the correct frames which emanate value and have a magnetic pull with women. Okay, so your frame is your sense of reality about yourself and the current situation at hand. Like I said, most people have a very weak frame, and they have to look outwards to society and to women to define their own worth, their behaviors, and their emotional state. And this is why if there's somebody dying of a heart attack in the middle of a busy street with hundreds of people walking by, everyone will just step right over them and completely ignore the person who may be writhing on the ground in pain until these people actually see someone step in to render aid. Okay, this is called the bystander effect. In any emergency situation, whether it be a SA or a burglary, people will all look around to look for the social cues. What is everyone else doing? And if they don't see someone jump in and start to help, well, they'll do absolutely nothing. When somebody with a strong frame comes along, who's actually present in the moment and living in their own reality, they'll immediately observe the fact that this person needs some help, and they will actually step in. Now, people automatically follow those who have a stronger frame. Think about con artists, like the guy who sold the Eiffel Tower twice. How was he able to pull this off? Okay, it was because he had a very strong frame. So if it's possible to have a frame so strong that you can literally convince people that you're selling them the Eiffel Tower, do you think it's possible for you to have a frame so strong that you can get, I don't know, a girlfriend? Okay, now I want to talk about the specific frames that, if you hold them firmly, result in attraction. And the first one is an overarching frame, and the second part are situational frames that happen chronologically in the seduction process. So the best overarching frame that you can develop is that you are a man of value. You don't have to look to women to validate you, and that you deserve respect. Now, it's all good and well to say, yeah, I'm a man of value when you're at home watching a YouTube video or doing some meditation. But the real test is when you actually go to the bar and you start talking to women. Is this a frame that you hold true to? Okay, and my overarching frame with women is that no woman is above me, especially based off looks. Number one, women's looks are highly more weighted in their value, if that was like an actual measurement, than a guy's looks in his value. That's number one. Number two, okay, let me explain this. So there's social media now, right? And a lot of attractive women get tons of validation on social media, likes, comments, DMs. And so it artificially inflates their ego far more than it would be in reality. So women will walk around probably feeling like the same way a queen would in like ancient Egypt or something. I don't really know. Or like a celebrity. So women will have like this insane amount of confidence based off of artificial validation, okay? And then a guy will walk up to this girl or he'll see this girl and he'll essentially buy into this frame that that girl's value is like a million times theirs, when in reality, it's just not the case at all. It's fake. Okay, so I believe that modern problems do require modern solutions. And so what I'm saying is that I never buy into the hot girl frame of the girl thinking that her value is through the roof, that she's like some celebrity. I just never buy into it. Okay, now I want to talk about 5 situational frames that will benefit you in an interaction with a woman. And the first one is when you approach. So the low value frame that most guys have when they approach is that I'm going to go try to convince this girl to like me, right? They're automatically coming from a place of low value. Now the high value guy, he sees an attractive woman and he says, well, she looks cute, you know, she kind of interests me, but I hope I actually like this girl. Like, I hope this girl meets my standards. And he's not actually coming into interactions with like a competitive frame of I'm gonna try to either trick this girl or establish my frame over this girl. Rather, what high status people do is they enter into social interactions or sales meetings with a collaborative frame. How can we both get a win out of this situation? They're not trying to establish dominance, but their frame is so strong that women just naturally fall into it. Now, the second situation is reaching the hook point. Now, when you approach a girl that you don't know, most of the time the girl might be a bit skeptical, right? Because you know that you're a cool, high value guy, but she just doesn't know that yet, right? So it might take her like a minute or so to actually warm up to you and to start to contribute really to the conversation and open up. But until that point, she might look at you kind of skeptically, give kind of short answers. And so in the beginning there, this is where a lot of guys get tripped up. They have this low value frame where they misinterpret the fact that they haven't hit the hook point, and they think that the girl's not reacting much because they're unattractive. Oh, I knew I would come over and she wasn't gonna like me. It's because I'm not tall enough. It's because my face isn't symmetrical. I'm just a loser. And this is just incorrect. Now, don't get me wrong. If a girl's not interested in you after a certain point in time, it's not low value to move on. But my point is that guys with this low value frame, they're quitting way too prematurely. The high value frame is that, you know, I'm socially aware enough to understand the situation at hand, that I'm a high value guy, but this girl just doesn't know that yet. So I need to be patient with her and allow her to see that. Now, when you're in conversation, the low value frame is that you need to talk really fast and do a lot of tone variation with your voice and a lot of like performing in order to keep the girl's attention out of fear that she's gonna leave. That's low value frame. The high value frame is that, well, I am high value. If this girl is smart, she's just gonna be able to pick up on that. I don't need to impress her. I don't need to perform. Now, the next point is when a girl tests you. The low value frame is that you need to defend yourself and explain yourself to the girl. Like, for example, let's say you're wearing a shirt that's really tight, and the girl is like, why are you wearing that tight ass shirt? That looks gay. The low value frame guy, he's gonna say, oh, actually this shrank in the wash, even if that's not true at all. Why? He's very dependent on the girl's approval. Now, the high value frame is that you don't need to explain yourself to a woman. You don't need to defend yourself from every BS attack that isn't even true, okay? Because you know your value, you know who you are, and your emotional state is not dictated by other people. And another point in the interaction is when it comes time to ask the girl out or move her to a different location. Now, most guys have the low value frame where they think to themselves, you know, I would be so lucky if I could hang out with this girl. and it results in nervousness, and she picks up on that. They're pedestalizing the girl. So in the high value frame, you want to completely flip it and say, you know what, I'm giving this girl a once in a lifetime opportunity to hang out with a guy like me, you know, being the guy that I am. And the only reason that I'm giving her this shot is because she's met a certain criteria. Now, if you're serious about making a change in your dating life and you're done just watching videos and reading books, but nothing really changes, and you want to personally work with me so that I can help you start going on consistent dates with higher quality women, you can click the link underneath this video and book a free call with me.